Starting an episode with a time lapse. I kind of like it. Welcome back to another episode here on the Project Bedrock server. If you missed a time lapse, and you might look down below and realize that, well, we don't have a see-through bottom floor anymore, and it is actually skulk all over it. And the reason for this is we have actually moved the shop. Hopefully we can walk out here and not get creepered, as there is still quite a bit of spawn proofing that we need to do. However, we all got together and decided that we were going to move the shopping district, and it's no longer going to be floating. Now, the floating shopping district we thought would be a really good idea. However, mid-season, whenever the practicality came about with it and wanting to add more shops, we decided that we wanted to go ahead and move the shops instead of expanding the floating shopping district, and to go ahead and move it before it got way too big to move. And if you look down below, what a decision it was to move all of this. We have GG Shop over here, which is now the new two-story design, where she completely took the opportunity and really completely remodeled the entire store. And this is a typical GG build because it just looks absolutely phenomenal. The hanging llama, let's just say I was left on the server alone at night, and nobody else was on, so I kind of got bored, and I really should not be left unsupervised. So yeah, there's that. And then we also have the graveyard that was down here before. I'm sure this is going to be filling up rather quickly. We still have the spawn house over here, which another one of GG's amazing builds. And then we also have Raine's shop, where she's moved the wood shop down below here. And then I am sure you have not missed this. This is something where me and Gigi got together on a stream and decided to do a tribute for Technoblade. If you have not heard, which I'm sure that you have, unless you've been underneath a rock. Unfortunately, the beloved YouTuber Technoblade has passed away due to cancer, and we decided to do a commemoration statue and build this onto the server. Now, the statue was done from a tutorial that we did find, and as I mentioned, Gigi did help build this and help put this together as well. The tutorial was from Waffle Miner with a number 2 at the end. All credits and the link for the tutorial will be down inside of the description below. And thank you for allowing us to build this onto the server, Waffle Miner. I do really appreciate it, and you really did a terrific job on this statue for Technoblade. Aside from that, we have a new path going all the way around here, which looks phenomenal. I think GG primarily did this. I'm not sure if Raine helped with it. However, it is a very, very nice and fitting pathway that I'm sure is going to be spanning all over the shopping district here. And GG has also started to build a bridge going over to her area to connect all of this together, and I really just love seeing all of this come together. And if you haven't noticed this big flat area over here off to the side, this is basically a huge area that I've been working on, and Raine also helped clear out a ton of this area. Now, the area that was previously here was flattened by Raine, and then I looked at it and I'm like, well, what I'm planning to build here is going to be on a very, very large scale, and I don't think that it's going to be quite enough room. Now, I've gone ahead and expanded this out quite a bit more, and I'm still going to have to work on the terraforming, as I just pretty much did this for a base to have something to work on. However, it does look rather unnatural, so I want to go back and really naturalize this and make it look a lot better. However, I do believe I'm going to have to expand it out towards the back a little bit more, and maybe a little bit more towards the river. We'll have to see. However, this is going to be a project for many, many episodes in the future. So stay tuned, that way you can see what I plan on build here, because it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So before we get way too deep inside of the episode, I want to go ahead and do something that I've been meaning to do for a very long time on camera, and I really did not want to do this unless I was recording. So let's go ahead and grab this, and I think I have some wood in here. I'm going to need this. I'm going to place this down, place down my wallet. We can go ahead and grab some iron. We got some wood here, so we'll go ahead and turn this off here. And we should be able to, yep, there we go, smithing table. So we'll take this, put our little bit of iron back inside of here, and as you can see, I've been saving up netherite ingots for quite some time for this moment. Put that down. And we should be able to take off our armor here. And if I can do this correctly, there we go. Then we got this one here. And then our pants, of course. And now we're finally purple. Now, the main reason why I wanted to do the netherite on top of my armor is not so much for the power increase as much as whenever this hits the lava, or more likely my face hits the lava, that I will not lose my armor, which is pretty cool. I'm sure it's definitely going to come in handy in the future. And of course, with the change, whenever I walk out of the shop, I keep on expecting to see the floating marketplace outside here, and it kind of messes with your head walking out of the shop, as everything inside of the shop is the same. However, whenever you walk out, you expect to see the old shopping district, but you walk outside to a new area. It's kind of funny. Anyways, let's head on over to the old shopping district and take a look over there. Now, if you take a look at the upper shopping district here, you'll see that it is looking relatively vacant. We had the bookshop here, which was Gigi's. She has gone ahead and moved that and redesigned it, as you have seen. And also mine that was over here inside of the corner has been moved as well. Gigi does still have a few shops left to move. She has her floating inn ship there, and also the sea pickle shop. I don't know if she plans on redesigning these or if she just plans on moving these over just like they are. However, it will be pretty cool to see what she decides to do with them. Now, this one over here, this was the ocean shop that SeaMonstera had put together. Unfortunately, SeaMonstera and SmaugThunder have decided that they no longer want to be on the server. So it's really left to be seen whether or not the shop will be torn down or if somebody's going to take over the shop and sell potions out of it instead. SeaMonstera and SmaugThunder have both left on their own accord, and it has been under good circumstances, so we wish them the best of luck. However, they're no longer going to be playing on the server. So if you were a fan or are a fan of SeaMonstera and SmaugThunder, then go ahead and follow them on their Twitch. The links for following them will be down below inside of the description. We hate to see them go off of the server, but we do wish them the best of luck from the Project Bedrock server. Now, if you have a really keen eye, you might have noticed a couple slabs here right next to the nether portal, and you might be wondering what these slabs are. These slabs are a really cool feature that I plan to build into the floating marketplace district. However, I built this right before we decided as a group to kind of terminate the whole floating shopping district idea, as it's really hard to continue this and have any kind of story behind it. I'm sure everybody's wondering why the shopping district's floating. We had plans on making stuff underneath it to support the shopping district to make it look to where it's not just a floating block. However, in the end, we just decided that it would be better to have it over on the ground, and we would have so much more freedom with what we want to build and how we want to build it. And the main thing is we really wanted it to be organic for the season and not really have a plotted layout for all of the shops. So it was really hard to do that with this whenever you're building it, and it just became a really big pain really fast. So anyways, let's get to the slabs. If I move to the side, you'll notice if you hear in the background, there's a sculk sensor, and then you can hear a couple other redstone bits. Now, if you're curious as to what was underneath those slabs, you can look in front of us and see that this goes all the way from the very bottom, all the way up to the floating shopping district. And this is, of course, going to be a brand new slime block elevator. Now, I don't know if I will eventually rip this out, or if somebody wants to come along and claim this area for maybe a floating base that they can really repurpose and make look nice inside of this ocean area, or if I'll just leave it here and build another one inside of a different area inside of the world. However, I really do love this design. I spent a lot of time inside of a testing world creating it, and it's really, really reliable for what it is. And I was really impressed with it, to be honest. Now, this does not have any connecting redstone. This uses all sculk sensors in order to pick up the player movement and slingshot him all the way to the very top on slime. Now, if we walk over here, we have a sign that says walk forwards once the lamp turns off. Up here, we kind of have an emergency exit, which is powdered snow. So if somebody does fall off of there and fall all the way down, then instead of being splattered, they're going to land inside of that powdered snow and have a nice, easy landing down here below. So since this light is turned off, we can go ahead and walk forward. And you can see as soon as we do, we are going to be elevated all the way to the very top of the floating marketplace district, or shall I say the old floating marketplace district. And once we get to the very top, those slabs are going to open up, move out of the way, and close very, very quickly, allowing the player to go through. And you can jump around here all you want, and you'll never be able to trigger this from the top due to the wool inclusion. That way nobody ever falls down this hole. Now, unfortunately, with the floating marketplace district being retired, this is probably not going to be used a lot, if at all. However, I'm going to be itching and finding a use for this inside of a new project. So if you ever see anything inside of the future videos that you think would strongly benefit from a pretty awesome slime block elevator, then let me know and I'll go ahead and build it. However, if you guys want to see a tutorial on this, drop a comment below and let me know I'm pretty proud of this thing, and it's very, very simple and easy to build. And may I add, it's completely tileable, where you just repeat the sections over and over, and then once you get to the very top, you just add that end cap if you want that to have the closing door above. So like I mentioned, if somebody wants to see that on a tutorial, let me know and I'll get it done for you guys. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on. So now we are over inside of my village area that I've been slowly building in, because I wanted to show you guys what I've been working on off of camera. I've been doing a little bit of work here and there, and I also wanted to show you guys these pigs. If you have not noticed and you have not spotted them over inside the marketplace district, you might have noticed that these guys have crowns on them. That is because I ended up creating my very first resource pack and texture pack that takes these pigs, and it will put a crown on any pig that spawns into the game. Now, there is a few stipulations that I ended up making into this pack to where it was really respectful, and I did not want any disrespect to come from any ill doing of people using this pack, because I did release this to the public. If you're interested in seeing this pack or using this pack, then go on my channel and search for the Technoblade tribute video, and you'll be able to download the packs and use them on your own Minecraft world. Now, the first thing that I implemented into this pack is if you take a saddle and you put a saddle on the pig, then it's no longer going to be a Technoblade pig, and you can ride this and use this as a regular pig. However, I did not want Technoblade's name or his image to be defaced at all, so I made it to where there is no Technoblade crown on here as soon as you put a saddle onto here for respect purposes. The second thing that I ended up doing was making these pigs to where they are pretty much invincible, making them have the absolute most amount of health that I could possibly give them, as I am new to making resource packs and texture packs, so this was all new to me, and there's probably a better way to do it. However, these guys are very, very tough to kill, and again, I did this that way nobody uses this pack for any ill doing. And one more thing is, I don't know if I can get my saddle back. Can I have my saddle back? No? Okay, well, this guy might permanently have a saddle on him. Never really tried to get a saddle off of a pig before. If you guys know how to do this, let me know, please, because I only have a limited amount of saddles, and that was this horse's. Speaking of this horse, this guy has a name, and he's had a name for a long time. However, I just have not given it to him in Minecraft. See, I did not originally name this horse. My daughter actually named this horse, and I asked her what name she thought would be best fitted for this horse. And of course, with my daughter being younger, she said, well, we gotta name him Spirit. So you will forever be Spirit. Pretty cool. Now they just have to add some netherite horse armor into the game to match mine. And up here where my wheat field is, you might have noticed that I have a brand new, beautiful mangrove fence up here. And the reason for this is because from all of the bald empty spots that are kind of growing now, I've had a huge issue with mobs trampling all of my crops, and they would just come off the hillside and fall over to the edge, land on the crops, and then it would just destroy the crops. So I added these gates in to, one, make it look better, and two, hopefully mitigate this from happening, and to hopefully preserve my wheat field. And directly underneath that, we have a area inside of here, and it's not much. However, this is a nether wart farm. I don't really use a whole lot of this, however I did need quite a bit to make some potions. And if you've been watching the series, then you guessed it, the potions are for the minigame district coming up. So if we go underneath my unfinished house in here, you can see that I have cleared out some more space underneath. That way I can put some more micro farms inside of here. And we want to come over here to this one on the end here. This one is one that I decided to throw together, and I'm really proud of this one as well, and we'll probably eventually do a tutorial on it. However, this is pretty much a brewing station, so we can go ahead and go over here. And this is kind of a small section that's not really part of the farm. However, it is a necessity. We'll go ahead and throw some bottles in there, and we can turn that on. And that's going to start filling up bottles and spitting them out over here. Now we can take these and we can throw them inside of this double chest up here. That way we can fully fill up this machine. Now the main purpose of me building this was to get the lingering potions of slow falling, which was a very specific potion, and I really needed a mass number of them, so I ended up making a machine to make it a whole lot easier for me to brew these. However, I have this set up now for fire resistance potions because they were doing a lot of work inside of the nether, and inside of the nether there is obviously a ton of lava, so I ended up making a ton of potions of fire resistance for the group. That way they didn't die and lose all of their stuff. I also have a bunch of other potion materials on standby over here as well. That way we don't run out of anything. So these droppers here, you can change these 4 items to make whatever potion that you want. Inside of here we have the nether wart. Inside of here we have the magma cream. redstone dust in here, and on this specific potion, this fourth one, we don't need anything inside of here. If we were going to be doing like a splash potion, then we would put like gunpowder inside of here that would convert it into a splash potion. However, with this, we're just elongating it, making it a 8-minute fire resistant potion. And the order that you fill these are going to be the order that you need to brew the recipe in. So the first thing is going to be another wart. Then the second one will be a magma cream. And then the third will elongate it to an 8-minute potion, just like so. So we can go ahead and look in here, and it's already dropped the water bottles down here. And the first time that I turn this on, it's going to spit these down into the storage unit. So this is actually not going to be brewed on these. And then we can just take these 3 water bottles and recirculate these up into the system. That way we don't lose any. And definitely don't want to brew my golden carrots. And I'm also going to need a shulker box to place underneath here. And I crafted a brand new shulker box. Way to be prepared, Built. Great job. The shulker box we can place right here, or you could put a chest here, depending if you want a shulker box to load it and have storage that you can take and run with it, or you can just place this storage chest there if you would like. Either way works just fine. However, you can see these guys are going to start brewing. We have water bottles in here, and it's slowly going to change this into an awkward potion. Once the awkward potion has been brewed, then it's going to start brewing it with a magma cream, which is going to turn it into a potion of fire resistance. However, it's going to be a weaker potion of fire resistance because it's only going to last for 3 minutes. So then we're going to insert the redstone inside of here. And then this is going to extend this from the 3 minutes all the way to the 8-minute potion. So you might be looking at this thing wondering, well, this is relatively complicated. However, it's really not that complicated, and I'll go ahead and break it down for you really fast in layman's terms. The potions, you can pretty much guarantee they are going to brew the exact same amount of time for every single potion that you do. However, this is dependent on how many ingredients you add into that potion. The maximum amount of ingredients that a potion can have is 4 ingredients. So we're going to leave this set to a 4-ingredient potion. That way we know that it's going to brew the 4 ingredients and everything that is less than the 4 ingredients. Meaning in layman's terms that it's going to be able to brew every potion inside of the game, as long as you can brew it on a brew stand. So basically we have a etho hopper clock here that has enough time for the potion to brew, plus a couple seconds to give it a little bit of a buffer. And as soon as that is done, it is going to unlock this hopper, allowing all of those to drain into your storage system here. As you can see, we have a ton of fire resistance potions. And right after it's done unlocking that hopper, it's going to relock it and unlock this hopper, allowing new ingredients to come down into it. The first ingredient that we need to put in here is the water bottles, of course, and those are automatically going to go unfiltered into the side of it because there is a specific slot for the water bottles to go. However, the ingredient slot is going to be up top here, and it is going to be shuttled into from the top of it. Now, the order that you place these in, since these hoppers are going to feed it into the stand, the exact same order that they're fed into the hopper, we know once we feed them into this hopper that they need to be inside of a specific order. Now, because these hoppers are actually in different locations inside of the water streams, they do not have to have any different timings, because if we dispense these 2 at the same time, this one's obviously going to be ahead of it in the water stream, which means it's going to go inside of the hopper first, and it's the same with all of the other ingredients. So everything's going to be fired off at the exact same time. However, the delay inside of the water stream is what's actually going to determine where the item's location is on the hopper. And very quickly, you can see that that is about to take place. The hopper is going to unlock. These potions are going to drop. And now you can see inside of the water stream what I'm talking about. These guys all went into this hopper. They're going to be placed in their own corresponding spots and then fed inside of the stand one by one. And just like that, we have almost a full shulker box of fire resistance potion, which these things are great to have on hand at any given time, especially if you're running around inside of the nether. Now with this, I did go into a little bit more detail than I typically do with how it works. Let me know if you enjoy that kind of thing. I know that some of you enjoy listening to it, however, I know some of you also do not. So it's really about finding that balance inside of my videos in order to keep you guys entertained without boring you with all of the details. Now moving on, I just wanted to take you guys along for a ride throughout the Nether Hub, because Raine and Gigi have been very, very hard working on this Nether Hub together. And they have it to where it's pretty much all cleared out. As I mentioned before with the fire resistance potion, now you see why they need it. Because there was a huge lava lake directly above all of these magma blocks. And these magma blocks are obviously hand placed as well. And it required them to practically drain an ocean of magma, which is definitely no small feat. So I provided a ton of the fire resistance potion. because I figured that that would be really, really handy. Now we will also have to figure out where the new portal for the marketplace district will be. However, we're going to do that as a group, so I'm not going to take that amongst myself in order to do that. So if we come over here to the gaming district, you can see that Gigi has designed this huge Nintendo NES controller, which this really, really does hit me in my childhood because I absolutely loved the NES growing up. And I don't think that the kids nowadays will really understand what it's like to basically have your NES on and be playing a game and being very, very excited for it, but you couldn't save it and you had to leave it on. However, the only thing is if you left it on, you might come back, it might be frozen, or somebody might have walked across the floor and froze it. Those were the days, good old NES. But definitely nostalgic, and she did a fantastic job on doing this, so it came out very, very good, and I believe the portal is right over here. So, very, very good job there. Along with the rest of this, I haven't even broken the surface on showing you guys what she has done and what Raine has done as well. I believe Raine did a lot of the path here with these lampposts. I think Gigi was working on the lamppost, but these are really cool as well. And then we have a few more portals that we're finishing up. This is obviously the end here. And this was built by Gigi as well, I do believe. Hopefully I don't get any of these wrong and give credit to the wrong person. If I do, I apologize. And then over here, if I can, like, oh, there we go. Over here, we have a piston and a redstone comparator that Raine has thrown together, and this is obviously the portal for my place because, you know, me, redstone. Literally, the RS in my name stands for redstone. So, yep, I absolutely love it. Thank you, Raine. Over here, we have this absolutely amazing portal here, which of course is Gigi's, just like every other build that she makes. She is a crazy talented builder. So, of course, the nether portal is not going to be any different. And this one over here is Raine's that she has thrown together, which is really, really cool looking as well. And she has it to where it is a hidden entrance. Nobody is able to access this because you cannot open up the iron doors. Over here, we have the Mesa and Terracotta biome here, and I believe this leads out to a desert as well. And I absolutely love how the theme goes around to where it's going to be taking you. So that's very, very neat as well. And I can't quite remember where this goes. Oh, this goes to DSP's place. That's how you know it's DSP. And over here, right inside of the center, we have a giant fire pit. This goes, I believe, all the way up to the surface. And getting kind of hot in here. Yep, this definitely goes to the surface. And I see a ghast. Yeah, this is definitely somewhere where you do not want to be. However, just to show you guys what they had to go through to make the nether hub, that's a lot of lava to be removed. Absolutely crazy. Anyways, let's move on because we're going to head out to my industrial district now because I have been doing some more work off of camera and doing quite a bit of crazy stuff. Let's go. So we are over here in my industrial district portal, and if you look over here throughout the hallway, you'll notice that it is significantly bigger. This is because Raine wanted to be able to fly through here without almost dying, and it makes it so much easier to be able to fly. That way you don't have to worry about hitting your head and dying and suffocating inside of the roof. So a big thank you to Raine for doing that as well. However, if you have a keen eye, you might notice that behind this portal, there's actually another portal there. This one, as I said, is my industrial district portal. And this one over here takes us somewhere else. There's also another hallway here. This goes up to my nether fortress farm. And this hallway leads us to a new location that I will show you here soon. This one over here also takes us somewhere else. However, somebody's trying to wrong way built. Haha, very funny. I know exactly who left this, and that's none other than Gigi. So the story behind this is every time I go through another portal, I get disorientated like I think most of us do. So I just start aimlessly walking, and then halfway through the area that I'm not supposed to be in, I realize it, and then I have to go all the way back. And this would actually happen a lot at the stronghold down where the end portal is. So I ended up adding in a bunch of wood there that kind of blocked off the passage. That way I could stop myself from wandering too far, and I was able to catch myself before I got halfway through the stronghold. Well, Gigi found this block of wood that goes across, and she was like, what is this wood for? And she ended up removing it. And then whenever it was removed, I went to go back through there, and I aimlessly walked way too far again. And I'm like, where's my wood at? So I ended up going and putting my wood back. And then I ended up telling her what the wood was for. Well, Ever since then, it's been a joke. Wherever there's a portal, she wants to put a sign that informs me that I am in fact going the wrong way. So I guess it's kind of nice to have people looking out for you, but it seems like it's all too easy for everybody to laugh at me sometimes. Let's move on. And look at where we spawned. We are inside of a ocean monument, which this is actually the ocean monument that is inside of my industrial district. And as you can see, it is all cleared out. A big thanks to Gigi that helped me clear out the inside of this. And also a big thanks to everybody else that has helped me clear out the outside as well, as it is still a ongoing process. So you might notice that there's a bunch of orange sand pillars here. And the reason for this is marking all of the locations that the Guardians are going to be spawning. And I, of course, want to know this because I do plan on building a pretty crazy Guardian farm inside of this temple here. If we go ahead and fly up through here, and looking down from above, you can see that we have a large portion of this thing already drained and pretty much almost halfway there. However, this is a huge project, which is why I ended up making flying machines for this. As you can see, we have a huge army of flying machines, and these are all very strategically placed. We place the sand 7 blocks apart. That way it has 5 blocks inside of the center. That way we can place a sponge right down the middle of it and drain all of the water very easily. Well, I say very easily, but it is very, very time consuming and takes a lot of effort in order to do so. Like I said, massive project, but these flying machines help make it a little bit easier. So basically I designed and built these things, and they're all pretty straightforward and simple. Basically what we have is, you can't really see it, but we have a glass pane here. And you just stand on top of this glass pane, pick blocks some sand, and then we can just reach down below us and start placing in sand. Whenever we do this, you can see that it pushes it all the way out. And as soon as it pushes it, it's going to fall down off of here. And as you can see, whenever I place sand in front of the piston, it's just going to continue to take that sand and push it over the edge, slowly filling the sand, making a wall going all the way across. Then I can pick blocks of more sand and continue filling this. Now this will eventually get to the push limit, so we're going to speed up a little bit, and then I'll show you what happens whenever we get to the push limit. We are now at the push limit, and this thing is jammed up and will not push any farther. Now we obviously cannot fly this flying machine forwards with it being at the push limit because it cannot push anything additional at this point. So now that we're at the push limit, we need to take in a movable block and put the immovable block right here. For this, we're going to use a skulk sensor because, believe it or not, these cannot be moved by pistons. And it's a lot easier to pick up when you just use a regular silk touch hoe. You can pick it up almost instantly, and it's a lot better than using a block of obsidian. So we can go ahead and place that there. And then what we need to do is lower the push limit. So we are going to actually break one of these sand blocks here. It doesn't matter where you break it. And then it will make that start going again. And because this thing is constantly trying to pulse, it's not going to be able to be moved by the flying machine. So we need to remove this observer here. And that's going to stop it. Now I could move this thing one by one if I wanted to do like specific adjustments by removing that observer and then hitting that target block with an arrow. Then it would move forward every time that I shoot the target block with an arrow. However, I'm going to leave that observer there, which is going to basically make this thing move forward until it runs into that immovable block. So I'll take an arrow and hit that target block, and as soon as I do, it's going to start pushing all of this forward. And as soon as it gets to that immovable block, it's going to stop. And now the whole system's reset. All I have to do is take this observer, pop that right back there, remove my immovable block, and then jump back up here. And I am ready to go again. So it does make it a lot easier and a lot faster in order to do this, especially once you get into a rhythm. Little things like this just really shows how redstone really increases the productivity of doing a giant project like this. Let's move on. Over here, I just wanted to show that I added some more pistons to my cuber. I might end up just tearing this whole thing down and moving it. However, for now, I've been using this thing quite a bit because I need a ton of concrete for the new shop that I'm planning on building inside of the marketplace district. Now, this is cool and all, but what I really wanted to show you is what is actually behind it. Now, this, you probably already know what it is, especially if you've been watching me over on Twitch whenever I stream. This is my new gold farm. And I have named this thing Slucifer 2.0. And the reason for that is Slucifer 1.0 was on the Conjuring server. If you ended up following me whenever I did the videos on the Conjuring server and the Conjuring Realm Tour, then you would be familiar with the Slucifer. And that is basically renamed because I am a huge fan of the Gold Rush series. So I ended up naming this Lucifer 2.0. Lucifer 1.0, as I mentioned, was on the Conjuring server, and it was a Navy Next design. The lower section of the Navy Next design, I ended up redesigning and making it to where it would handle the mass amount of items that came out of the gold farm, and it was able to sort them all pretty quickly. However, this one here, I have not actually put a sorting system on yet because the primary function of this thing is XP, and there is also something else that I needed the XP for. Well, there's a bunch of sea turtles down here. And if you haven't really guessed by the new ground coverage here, that is what I need the XP for. If we go down here, you can see I've kind of been carving some of it out. So it's kind of ugly right now. However, there is a huge amount of skulk that has grown throughout here. And I've just recently harvested all of the skulk sensors, the shriekers, and everything else that comes from the skulk farm. However, I can control this lever here, and I will turn on the gold farm, and it'll take just a few moments to boot up, and then we'll start having some of the zombified piglins dropping out of here. And as soon as they do, we'll have some skulk spreading. And as you can see, we have these guys now falling down, and they are going to splat on the ground, dropping all of their experience, and it is making all of the skulk spread. And as you can see, it spreads very, very quickly, especially with the large amount of XP that all of these guys drop and the amount of the zombified piglins that are coming down and dying. So let's go up to the surface and take a look as to what this actually looks like from above. And as you can see, this thing puts out a few zombified piglin, and it's a good thing that my computer is pretty high end because I've tried running this on the Xbox and it just does not like it at all. So this thing actually has two modes. We can take all these zombified piglins and we can go ahead and hit that switch. It's going to stop these guys from going down below, and it's going to shuttle them into two of my trident killers. And as soon as that does, we can go up here and we can repair whatever tools we need to, and it will repair it very, very quickly. And if you're wondering what that looks like from a outside perspective, you can see just the mass amount of zombified piglins that are actually going into the trident killers. These are actually so many zombified piglins that I had to use two of my trident killer designs to keep up with this farm. However, with this design, I have all of the drops going into lava right now, as I really don't have a big use for gold at the moment. However, in the future, I will be using this and making pretty much a huge, massive storage unit to keep up with all of these gold drops, along with the gold swords. And if you're curious to how fast the XP bar goes up, with 61 levels, it doesn't take no time at all. So while we're waiting for that machine to clear out, we'll go back down here to where the skulk sensors are. And as you can see, the short moment that that thing was running, we have shriekers and skulk sensors all over the place. And that's a good thing because we do plan on selling these things inside of our shop. Anyways, I think that I got you guys all caught up for everything that has gone on in between episodes. However, there is one more thing that I want to show you guys, and that is inside of the Nether. You remember that tunnel that I was telling you guys about? Well, yeah, let's go and check it out, and I'll show you guys what else I built. So now that I've showed you the future Guardian farm, the only thing left to show you guys is what is down this very, very long hallway here. So let's go and check it out. As I mentioned, this is a very, very long tunnel. Oh, and in between clips, I also added some netherite into all of my tools. So that happened. At the end of this very, very long tunnel is a place with a ton of blackstone, which is of course going to be none other than a bastion. Not just any bastion though, this is going to be a treasure room bastion, which has the magma cube spawner down below here as well. And you can see that I've gone ahead and turned this into not only a magma cube farm, but also a frog light and cactus farm as well. And if you have seen the tutorial that I dropped on my channel recently, you will know exactly how this farm works. However, I'll give you a quick rundown. Inside of here, we have just a small little safety area to keep away from these endermen. On Bedrock Edition, the endermen are extremely bugged. And from here, we are getting cactus out of this farm. We are getting magma cream, and we are also getting all three types of frog lights as well. The way that this works is we have the magma cube spawn, and then they fall down through the powdered ice there. And then if we walk around here, we'll be able to go down to the lower part of the farm. Down here, you can see that there is a grid of cactus to break down all of the magma cube into the smallest form of the magma cube. Once they are broken down, they'll be able to fall down through the holes, and that's where they're going to be consumed by all of these frogs. Now, depending on which frog eats the magma cube is what is going to determine what frog light drops out of these guys. However, we do also have a cactus farm built into here, because while we're utilizing the cactus, you might as well be harvesting it while it grows as well. So it's just a pretty neat concept to kind of roll a few farms together. There's really not a whole lot of cactus that I need, and this thing produces just the right amount for me. Underneath the floor here, we have slabs down. That way the hoppers can pull out whatever goes onto the floor, and underneath every slab block is going to be a hopper. I decided to do this instead of using hopper minecarts to make this a lot more reliable. Everything's going to be shuttled down into this item dropper here, and this is going to elevate stuff all the way up to the very top, to where it will make its way through the sorting system up top here. Alright, I do believe that you guys are officially caught up to just about everything that has happened in between episodes. However, I did originally plan on doing the builds for SeaMonstera and putting some farms in over at his base. However, since he's no longer on the server, there has been a change of plans, and I've kind of fast forwarded on to some other plans that I was planning for future episodes, so you just get to see those earlier. So let's go and gather up some materials, and then we'll get started building. And the next bit of stuff that I'm going to need is going to be, believe it or not, some of this stuff here. No, you would think that I was talking about sand. No, I am actually talking about sandstone. Well, it doesn't seem like it's taken Gigi very long to get me back from hanging a llama upside down in front of her shop. I can see her over there now. Anyways, what I come over here for is I need the last thing that I've been gathering, and I'm should have a very large supply of it down here inside of my overflow for the shop. So let's see, not in there, not in there. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Bone blocks. Well, over here we have 3 shulker boxes and of course a sheep. We have a ton of warp blocks. We have some endstone that we just gathered, some sandstone, and also some bone blocks. We also have a bunch of different materials here. We have dark prismarine, regular prismarine bricks. We have some concrete powder, and a bunch of warp stem, and even a diamond block. Inside of this third one here, we have nothing but a ton of black concrete. Can you guess what I'm building? Probably not, but you'll be able to figure it out relatively soon. It's going to be my new shop, and we're going to have a ton of stuff for sale inside of it. Let's go. And just like that, we have ourselves a brand new shop. And to say that this thing is massive is a huge understatement. No pun intended. So as far as location goes, this thing is directly behind the redstone shop, and you can see the size comparison between the two of the shops. Like I said, this thing is absolutely massive, and I've been wanting to build a giant warden for some time, ever since they announced him on the 1.19 update. And I just went into the redstone creative world and just started placing block by block until I got something that I was happy with. So let me know what you think about my giant warden. But the best part is yet to come. So as I mentioned, this thing is going to be a huge shop, and what I wanted this shop for is basically all of my mob drops. Whenever you walk over here and you stand on top of this little ledge here, this automatically opens up, and we have the skulk sensors to thank for this, since they are down below and silenced, and they're only detected by the person that's inside of the front entrance here. The door, since they have wool inclusion, is not ever going to affect the skulk sensor. For this build, I decided to use my 4x4 vault piston door, so you can stand on these pressure plates and it opens up very quickly. And then we also have a very nice and fast closing sequence as well. Inside of here we have these pressure plates. Whenever somebody wants to go out, they can step on the pressure plates. The color palette, the pressure plates, everything in here is up to change, and I'm still kind of working on a design for the inside of here. With that being said, what do you think would look good on the inside of a warden shop? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down inside of the comments below. I'm not really dead set on any of the color palettes in here, and they are all up for change. And if you're wondering what that piston noise is with all of the thumping, well, I'm about to show you. But first, let's go ahead and talk about the plans that I have for this. I plan on having a small room down in here, and then having it pretty much mirrored on this side here. This side is more finished than the other side. And then we're going to have it basically cap off and probably have another small room right over here. And then we'll have another small room over here as well, which we will also have stairs going up to it. And then over here, we're going to have probably a down bubble vader. And over here, we'll have an up bubble vader, which will take you up to the second floor here. So we'll probably have the bubble vader come all the way up here and take you up to the second floor balcony, where we're going to have a small room over here. And then if we go over here, we will have a small room over here as well. And then we'll probably have the bubble vaders continue to go up to the room that's going to be directly above us, which will take us up into the head of the warden. And then directly above us, this is where we're going to be building the room up here for the rest of the warden's head, which will be another area of the shop where people can come up here and buy stuff. This is also going to be the redstone floor, and we're going to have a false floor going across this level here, which is why all of the redstone here is flat. And if you're wondering what all this redstone's for, this is literally for the heart of the warden. I pretty much got the idea of having the note blocks for the heart thumping as well as the pistons actuating it from the old Mumbo Jumbo Season 7 base, where he had his base alive and he had a golden heart beating inside of it as well. This one's not nearly as intricate as his, and his was, I believe, also gold as well. This was made to look a lot more realistic, and I just thought that it would be a really cool touch for this, and you can hear the note blocks thumping all throughout the shop. Well, the warden shop is very far from being complete. However, the exterior is pretty much done on it, and I really need to work on the interior for the next episode. However, the reason why I have not done more on the interior is I've kind of ran out of blocks, and the main block that I have ran out of is going to be blackstone. So that's going to be our goal for the next episode. We're going to put together a piglin bartering system where we can get a ton of blackstone, because that seems like it's going to be one of the main blocks inside of this build, and it just really blends in really well with the surrounding blocks that the warden is made out of. So I think that it will fit in just fine for the inside of the warden shop. Plus, I think the inside of the warden should definitely be a little on the darker side for the palette. As I mentioned, let me know what you guys think down inside of the comments below. Any recommendations are always welcome and much appreciated. With that being said, we have reached the end of the episode and we have ran out of recording time. So I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. If you think that this video was worthy of a like, please drop a like below. And if you have not yet subscribed, then please go ahead and do that before you leave. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.